Hello, and welcome to our channel, the Board Games Society. Today, I propose a new solo challenge for the discovery of the game, Great Western Trail. For the setting, we use the same configuration of a game for 2 players. Your opponent, the red player, will be the first player and start with $6. You will be the yellow player and receive $7 as the second player. Place your 14 discs onto your player board to cover each of the colored disc spaces. Do the same thing for your opponent. Place your 10 buildings tiles on the A side, and displace them in an ascending order, from 1 to 10. Above your player board. Do the same thing for your opponent. Deal 1 random card, face down, to your opponent, and take 1 for your personal objective. The red player will stay in Kansas City. At each round, he will carry out one of the Kansas City sub-phases. For his first move, he will take the 2 tiles in the foresight spaces below spot number 1. You will select one to move it to its corresponding section, and give the other one to the red player. Warning: if you give a hazard token to the red player, you give him victory points too. At the end of each round, refill this foresight subphase with 2 new tiles. It's now your turn. Do your action as usual. After, the red player will move to the second foresight space. Do the same thing. Take the 2 tiles, place one onto the board, and give the other one to the red player. At the end of each round, refill this foresight subphase with 2 new tiles. And it's the same thing for the other foresight space. For your turn, do your action as usual. After, the red player will move to the third foresight space. Take the 2 tiles, place one onto the board, and give the other one to the red player. And don't forget, at the end of each round, refill this foresight subphase with 2 new tiles. After your action, the red player will move to the 4th space for his income. Reveal the same number of cards of his hand limit, 4 cards at the beginning of the game, and calculate his income and give him that amount from the bank. You take another round of action and then he will move to the last space of the Kansas City track. For this fifth action, he will activate all his workers, the cowboys, the craftsmen and the engineers. For his first worker action, he will use his cowboys to buy the most valuable card with the money available. If he have the choice between two, he will take the less expensive one. Any of the cowboy that he do not put to use buying a cattle card will be used to draw 2 cards from the market cattle stack to add them to the cattle market. For our example, he can use his 2 cowboys to buy a longhorn for $12. But since he have only $5 to spend, he will buy 1 cattle card with a breeding value of 3 for $3. He will take the one with the most valuable victory points. After, he will activate his craftsman. Each craftsman costs $2 for a construction. With 2 craftsmen, he can build the 4A building, but he need $4. Since he have only $2 left, he will take the first building, 1A, and build it. For the red player, place the first red building next to the first neutral building on the first space available. The second red building will be placed next to the second neutral building, and so on. For his last worker action, the red player will move his engine up to as many spaces forward as he have engineers. After, he will move one of his player discs from his player board onto the city crest equal to his engine. When you select a disc from his player board, take them from the auxiliary actions first, from the top to the bottom, then from left to right. And after your next move, he will go back to the first space of the Kansas City track to do the first foresight action, and so on, again and again, until the end of the game. When a player places a worker tile onto the last space of the market, if it's the red player, you have one last round before the final scoring. Take the scoring notepad and go through its 11 categories. Whoever has the most victory points in total wins the game. That's all you got to know for the solo challenge. Now, it's your turn to play.